Well, good morning. It's Saturday, August 28th, and we are gathered for a morning devotion. Again, we use it Brian McLaren, Seeking Aliveness. And today's devotion is called Happiness Delayed Again. The good news was that Moses survived. The bad news, Moses grew up with an identity crisis. He was an Israelite by birth, but an Egyptian by culture. So a huge question was hanging over him as he matured. On whose side would he stand when he came of age? As a young man, his moments of decision came when he saw an Egyptian beating up an Israelite. He stood up for the Israelite and killed the Egyptian oppressor. Now he had to make his choice. But to his surprise, his kinfolk couldn't welcome him as a hero. Instead, when he tried to intervene in a quarrel between two Israelites, they distrusted him. So he went from belonging to both sides to being considered an outsider by both. In disgrace, he ran away from Egypt and came to an oasis in the desert. There he saw a group of male shepherds driving away some girls from a well. Now sensitized to the victims of oppression, he stood up for the girls. Their father was so grateful he welcomed Moses into his family, and Moses married one of the daughters he had helped protect. Finally, Moses had a place to belong, right? Now he could settle down and be happy, right? They lived happily ever after, right? Well, not quite. And so we know the story, happiness delayed again. We know the story of Moses. And it seems like that, oftentimes when we pray to God, when we ask God for help, we want God to act right now. God, I'm praying for healing. I want this to happen. I've lost my keys. Help me find them. I am sick. Heal me. I need this, whatever the case may be, whatever the prayers may be. We want God to act now. And the reality is, if we read the stories, particularly in the Old Testament, not necessarily with Jesus, because Jesus was God and his actions were immediate, but when you see God working in this world, it seems like it takes a lot of time. And that's okay. That's okay, because God uses that time. He wants us to be involved in making these things happen. Happiness delayed just means that he was waiting for Moses for the right time to call Moses, and waiting for that right time for Moses to accept that call, to get involved from yesterday's devotion. God works through time. God's pace is not our pace, but we see God in the big picture of life. We don't see God working immediately, but over time. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's okay, because then we can reflect on what God has done in this world. Instead of just immediate gratification, God works over time so that we can see his grace and love in this world. How's God working in your life? How's God using the timeline of your life to interact with one another? What is God doing that seems like it is delayed in this world, but happens over time?